Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Ignatowski. Come on up.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. There's an old saying, you really can't understand another person's experience until you've walked a mile in their shoes. It's literally the ability to see the world from their perspective. As an effective leader, you need to understand that world, and you need to manage and make decisions accordingly based on that world. When you walk a mile in someone else's shoes, I'm here to tell you and share a case story today that amazing things can happen. At Champion Plastics, we embarked and we walked a mile in their shoes. And what we determined is we found some amazing ways to save costs, increase efficiencies, and ultimately improve profitability. It had a profound effect, almost a side effect, on our corporate culture. Amazing. I purposely picked this logo. From what I understand, if you were to walk a mile in high-heel shoes, it would be probably the most unpleasant experience ever. In fact, it's my understanding if you were to spend 15 minutes in high-heel shoes, it would be a very uncomfortable experience. But as managers and leaders, it's not really about what's comfortable, it's about what's doing right. And sometimes you have to deal with the uncomfortable. And sometimes you have to take the comfortable and put it aside and deal with the uncomfortable. Let's see how this goes. Troy, I took out an umbrella policy, so you're covered for today if I happen to take a spill. So, we're all leaders here today. How many people on a regular basis are walking the manufacturing floors? Can I see a show of hands, please? Great. I like to see that. I'm sure you're saying hello, you're greeting your employees. But how many are actually walking a mile on that manufacturing floor? And what I mean by that is, are you actually working a press? Are you actually assembling parts? Are you actually doing inspection? Are you helping program robots? Or, and I've done this myself, how many of you have actually spent 3 hours cleaning an injection molding press from top to bottom yourself? Can I see a raise of hands for that, please? A little bit less, I see, a little bit less. So, by the way, how do my calves look? Not bad? Not bad. So, I'm going to share with you a case study. General Motors came to us, and they realized on their full-size pickup truck, which is one of the top sellers they have in the industry, that during the wind tunnel, that there's a spoiler on the back of the cab. And that spoiler has a gap. And what they found is that the wind was actually getting sucked in the side of the spoiler, and it was costing them 1 mile per gallon in their ratings. And so they came to us and they said, we need to fill that gap. We just need a simple seal to fill that gap, and we need it as soon as possible. And everyone understands, especially those in the automotive industry, how important it is the CAFE standards. 1 mile an hour is worth millions in the automotive industry. So they came to us and they said, we need you in production in 30 days. We all know how that works. Can you get an injection mold, 4-cavity production injection mold built in 30 days? Not very easily. So they said, we authorize you to use 3D printed parts in production. We need 16,000 pieces a week. So we had to find a 3D printing farm that was capable of supplying us that daily throughput. We found a company that FedExed us parts every day for 30 days. And every day, those parts came in at early delivery, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning, and then General Motors hired a courier that would pick our parts up from Auburn Hills, Michigan, and they would deliver them straight through to Arlington, Texas. That's how important this job was for them. So as a result, we were working 7 days a week, and including the entire management team and yours truly. Here's the part. Doesn't look like much. It's molded out of a TPV material, which is a low surface energy type resin, and what it requires is a piece of adhesive tape, and all that does is allow it to stick to the spoiler while it's being assembled to the body. And by the way, my feet are killing me already. So it doesn't look like much, but it's actually quite labor intensive, because on a low surface energy product, you have to use a liquid adhesive promoter or AdPro, and that had to be manually applied before you could put the tape on. So what we didn't realize is that we had 2 full-time operators doing liquid AdPro, and we had 3 to 4 operators applying the tape, and we didn't have our end-of-arm tool in place yet, so we didn't even have anyone doing the cavity separation. So we were way over our labor that we had quoted. So here's our bill of materials. We've got the TPV material, we've got the molded part, which was a 2+2 left-right family cavity tool, and adhesive promoter, and the tape application. And you can see the number of operators. So as a management team, we had no choice. I think what Alex said, we got our asses on the manufacturing floor. And we learned so much so quick. This was an interesting lesson for me. So you're sitting in a chair. It happens to be the chair that our employees, our dedicated employees, sit in and day out. 5 days a week in our case, and all year long, they sit in those same chairs and they assemble parts for us. We sat in those chairs. I got home that night, my back was killing me, my neck was killing me, and I said, I cannot believe these poor people are dealing with this on a day-to-day basis. Got on Amazon that night, immediately got 3 of the most what looked to be the comfortable chairs I could find, and FedExed them in, had everyone try them out, and within days, we had all new chairs throughout the plant. Now, that doesn't seem like a big, giant transformation, does it? But let me tell you, for those that are in HR, we work real hard to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries and have parties and to get that warm welcome from our employees. Well, the gratitude that we received from our employees for their new chairs trumped anything that we had ever done for them. And that's what started our journey to walk a mile in their shoes. The first thing we tackled was the adhesive promoter. Raise a hand, anyone use adhesive promoter? They understand, it's not a real nice, pleasant material. You have to have full-time ventilation. You should be wearing a mask. It's sticky, it's nasty. In fact, I purposely used one of our common applicator bottles, and you can see it's filthy and dirty. But we had 2 full-time operators literally doing the adhesive promoter around the clock. And I did that as well. Just like with the chairs, when I went home with a sore back, I went home pretty buzzed. And let me tell you, I think that was the catalyst for the next idea, how to get rid of the adhesive promoter. So we decided, let's try plasma treating. Earlier in my career, I worked for a Class A painter of plastic parts. And when we ran into low-energy plastics, we would plasma treat them prior to painting. And it occurred to me, well, what if we use the same technology on a low-surface energy resin that needs tape applied and see if we could eliminate it? We did some trials, And on a prototype basis, we proved that that was able to work. The next thing we tackled was the tape application. My feet are really killing me. This is rough. The tape application. So on the left, you will see how we, as management, ordered the parts, and it's die-cut tape. What we realized is that our operators had to literally peel off the backing before they applied the tape. And we realized that because we were walking a mile in their shoes. We were doing the exact same thing that we were doing and realized this is adding 10 seconds almost just to remove that liner. So we quickly invested in a rotary die, and you'll see on the right, now they come in on a roll, and literally you can just peel it right off and put it on. So from an efficiency and throughput, right then we added 10 seconds in cycle time. The next thing we did is, and this is how we commonly do it, is we're the management team. We know how things are supposed to be done, right? So they need tape fixtures to apply the tape properly. So we engineered the tape fixtures on their behalf, gave them to them, put it on the floor, and said, here you go. Well, when we got down there with them, we realized none of them were using the tape fixtures whatsoever. What we realized is they were better off with no tape fixtures. But again, as managers and leaders here, we thought we knew better. We did not engage the employees. And I'm not talking engineering level, I'm talking getting down to the actual people doing it, and they said no. So what do we do now? Any new program, we bring them in, what do you think? They engineer it or decide whether they want to use it at all. Next, we had to put it all together. And what we realized is that we needed to automate it. We got quotes for using an offline automation, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 quotes. We're not a big company. That didn't seem like a good solution. What we wanted to do is figure out how can we use our existing 3-axis gantry-style robot and somehow do it within cycle time. But what we realized is the way the parts come out of the tool, the side that needs to be plasma treated is actually on the cavity side. So we had an uh-oh moment because we had to flip those parts around somehow. So what we did is we invented an end-of-arm tool that literally grabs the parts, flips them over, and hands them to themselves. So you could see the flipping there. Then the next step was we want to do inline plasma treating. Let's let the robot do that as well. So again, we accomplished our goal. All in line, all within cycle time. Here's our ROI. You can see that we went from a mere investment of $45,000, and what we just eliminated in labor alone is a savings of roughly $100,000 a year the first year, but because this is a 6-year program that is very high volume, you can see it's literally almost $900,000 in savings, and it all started out of us walking a mile in their shoes. The new chairs, the safer working environment, the environmental friendly plasma versus the AdPro, what it did to our culture. What's the ROI on that? We all know what that is. It's priceless, exactly. So, what we're really talking about here is corporate culture and empathy. Corporate culture is the personality of your organization and is directly driven by your management team. Your culture decides if your employees are happy, it decides the decisions that they make on a day-to-day basis, and ultimately affects your profitability. Empathy is really your ability to feel what others are feeling. Really proud, my oldest son was direct admitted to Michigan's Ross School of Business as a freshman. And I said to him, listen, is there a class called Empathy 101 in business school? No, Dad. Is there a class called Caring 101 in business school? No, Dad, there's not a class for that either. How about, is there a class called Feelings 101? See, ladies and gentlemen, they don't teach this in business school, but this is what leadership is all about. Words like feelings and caring and empathy, those aren't business terms. You won't find them in a business book, but that's what we need today. We need leaders that lead with empathy, that understand why employees are feeling the way they are, and we need to adjust accordingly based on those feelings. We need leaders that are empathetic and can develop employees by being empathetic to them. So, your employees walk miles and miles and miles every day for you. They walk miles and miles and miles every week and every year. So what I'm asking you to do today is, I want you to care. I want you to show your employees that you care enough, and I want you to walk that mile with them. Now, can I get a show of hands of everyone here that's ready to do that task? Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Fantastic. I need one more show of hands. Anyone in the front here who wears a size 9 men's shoes? Raise your hand. Anybody? Right there. Well, sir, I'm going to pass the baton to you because my feet are killing me. So why don't you come up here, and I will pass the baton, and these are yours, my friend. Thank you, everybody.